So again, just choose a thread, any color. Choose one that brings you joy. So we're going to start with a backstitch. A backstitch is really great for outlines. So just start putting your needle at the beginning of the line, through the fabric, and pull. A good distance for the stitch is about half the length of your fingernail. So I guess that would be about just under 1 centimeter, and pull it through. Then come up for your next stitch. Instead of going forward to create a running stitch, we're going to go backwards into the hole of our previous stitch like that. So now we have 2 stitches seamlessly together. And then our next stitch will come out through the beginning of that one. This is really great for outlines. And you just keep going, 1 forward, 1 backwards. As you can see, this line is slightly disappearing, which is really, really great with the air erasable pens. It's nice if you want to test out details that you're not sure if you want to commit to them, because things like the pen and the carbon paper, which I'll show later, is permanent and hard to get out. So you have to stitch over them, whereas this is a non-committal pen. So once you finish your backstitch, just turn around, and then the way that we finish is you take your needle and you just go underneath one of your previous stitches to create a loop, and then take your needle through the loop and create a knot. What you can also do is just go under one more, and then we're going to cut just underneath there so that there's a nice neat finish and there aren't too many tails sticking out the back of your fabric. You can also trim them down if you feel like they're going to be an issue later. So here we have a basic backstitch. The next example of creating a straight line is couching. Couching is simply just creating one stitch and using smaller stitches to hold it down. So I'm just going to create a line like this, and I'm going to show how we can also use this to create nice curvatures like that. So again, just choose a thread, any color. Choose one that brings you joy. Thread your needle. Create your knot. So you're going to go in at your first point, down at your next point, and then just along the line of that stitch, you come out next to it, and you just use one little stitch to hold it down. So there we have one straight line that has just been held down by 2 little stitches. You can also do this along an arch. Don't pull the thread too tight, because obviously you're going to need enough thread to go along the arch so that it's not straight. And create a stitch like this. So this is where you just got to be careful not to pull too tight. And then just hold it down. Do this a little bit further along the line. And hold it down. One more, just further down the line. And hold it down. Obviously, the more little grabs, essentially, that you create, the more defined and the more kind of accurate the line will be. And to knot it, just go underneath one of your previous stitches to create your loop. Put your needle through the loop. And snip. So from here, I'm going to show you 2 different types of full stitches. I'm just going to make a little square that we're going to color in with the air erasable pen. And again, choose the color that makes you happy. So the first fill and the most simple fill that we're going to use is a satin stitch. So start off at any corner of your block and work your way down. Then come up next to your first stitch and then come down. Keep going like this until you filled your block or whichever area it is that you're working in. The satin stitch creates a really beautiful flat fill, and depending on your thread can pick up like a really amazing shine. So if you have a matte thread, it'll have a very different look to if you have a thread with shine. It's okay if you go a little bit skew, like I have. You can just add extra stitches. So as you can see, it's a nice, flat, solid fill. Another version of a satin stitch that I'm going to show you is going to be with a variegated thread. Variegated threads change color along the distance of the thread. So here we can see this one goes from a light purple to almost like a fuchsia to a blue back to fuchsia. So whereas the previous satin stitch goes next to each other every time and the back looks the same as the front, this one we're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. The reason we do this is so that we get the gentle gradients that happen with the thread all on the surface of the fabric as opposed to behind the fabric. So we don't lose the transitions and the magic of the variegation. So again, you start at any corner and then you go up to the top. But instead of coming down again at your beginning point, you come out at your previous, just next to your previous hole. And again. It is really important when you are using variegated threads to be mindful of those transitions. They're really nice when you're doing textured fills in a way to get an effect of lots of colors coming through, but without having to constantly re-thread and change your needle. So here you can see the color is transitioning really seamlessly, and it looks really beautiful. So you can see the difference between the two satin stitches when you turn it around. The first one, the front and the back look the same because essentially you're wrapping it around the fabric. Whereas the second one, because we're zigzagging like this, you don't have the same amount of stitches going around. This is actually a more economical way to create a satin stitch. Again, when you tie it off, just go underneath any little stitch that you can, just like that, even if it's small. Create your loop and go through. So the second fill I'm going to show you is a long and short stitch. So the short and long stitch is exactly what it sounds like, a short and a long stitch. So we'll start again at the corner, create a stitch, and the second stitch, which we're going up, just like the satin stitch, will be a different length. So I'm going to show you how this works for two different colors. So I'm first going to use this pink to create stitches of different lengths. So this is how we create our own gradients and the foundation for color blending. Remember, you don't have to be too precious about exactly where your stitches go and they end up. The beauty of it is that it is reversible, and it's really nice to just keep going and layering over the stitches. I think it's really important not to be hard on yourself about these being perfect. So here I have my first color of short and long stitches. I'm going to choose my second color, which is going to be along the same color family, but just a lighter version. So with your second color, you're just going to go along the same distance, meeting up with the stitches that you made before. It's totally okay that these aren't short and long, and there's really so much beauty in the imperfection, and that's where you learn the most. So just keep going, filling it up. And it's also, if you feel like you need to compensate for areas that are missing, it doesn't have to be next to it. So I can see here, just over here, I'm missing, there is too much fabric sticking out, so I'm just going to go over, come out, and pop into that. We're just going to keep layering until our area is full. And we're happy with how our fill looks. So the last stitch I'm going to show you is the French knot. French knots are really nice for creating texture. So you just need to thread your needle about the same length of 800 millimeters and knot the end. So you just come through like this. Then you want to wrap your thread around your needle 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And just put your needle through the fabric next to where your stitch came out. So here you can see there's the twist at the bottom of the needle just around the fabric. Then we're going to pull through, making sure that that twist is on the fabric, and if you need to, just open that loop up so that it's as close as possible and pull through. This is so satisfying when you get it right. So again, we're just going to wrap it around 1, 2, 3 times, putting the needle in the fabric just next to where you came out and pulling through. Oh, sometimes you need to just give it an extra wiggle. There we go. And super fast, looks like this. Cool, so that's your French knot, which is really nice for creating lots of textures, like landscapes, the leaves on trees, the pollen in flowers, and any other kind of textural detail.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.